Okay, so hey y'all, welcome back to
Hey,
another episode of Sistas in Crime with Shy and Toy. I am Toy, that's short for Latoya.
and I'm Shy, short for Shamia.
And this week we have another case coming out of South Carolina. This one is on Sandy Locklear. So we're not gonna hold you, we're gonna get straight into it, and I'm gonna start with a little background about Sandy. So, from what we could gather, Sandy was born in 1971. She was born in Laurinburg, North Carolina, which isn't that far from the South Carolina line. She ended up moving to South Carolina when her parents were divorced at the age of 9, and her father ended up going to prison soon after. I did try to look up information about her parents, but there wasn't a lot I could find besides that they moved around a lot after her mom became a single mom and she had a rough childhood. There was no indication what they meant by rough childhood other than all I saw was they moved around a lot. So, um, her mom then moved the entire family to New Jersey. And during that time, Sandy actually ended up dropping out of school, which she dropped out in the eighth grade. Eventually, I guess she decided to turn her life around. She's like, she's going to go back to school. So she did go back to school to get her GED. And later on, she went on to become a certified nursing assistant, which is a CNA. So she married and had a child, but they ended up divorcing in 2001. Again, didn't find a whole lot about that husband. So at that time, she ended up leaving New Jersey. She moved to Tabor City, North Carolina. She remarried, so now we're on husband number two, and she gave birth to another daughter. So the first one was a daughter. Now she has a second daughter with husband number two. However, unfortunately, husband number two ended up dying in a car accident. So at that time, she became a young widow and a single mother of two little girls. And then 6 years after this incident happened, she met Mr. Amos Hatfield, and we'll let Shy take it away with Amos.
Okay, so Amos was a military man. He did several years in the military. That's where he met his wife and the mother of his children. He retired after the military and his wife died. So the family reports that I mean, Amos was very sad, and rightfully so. He had been with her for many years, shared many happy years.
Mhm.
Of course, they had kids together, and he was just really sad and really lonely. So he goes to a casino, and he meets Sandy. So they noted that Sandy and Amos, it was like a 26-year difference between them,
Yeah.
which I'm not against it.
I'm not, but it's just not for me.
Right. I'm off the market totally, but
To each his own. I'm not off the
yeah,
market, but that ain't gonna fly over here.
right. It was a 26-year difference. And, the family, initially they approved of her. Like, he was the one thing that they specified in the whole episode and the research that he made her really happy.
Hmm.
So, therefore, after seeing their dad in such a sad place for so long, she made him happy. And they were like, okay, we'll roll with it. So, they became very close. He helped her with her kids, bought her a car and a home. So, like, I'm not gonna say don't take Sandy's advice, because obviously we wouldn't be doing a episode on her if she wasn't trash. But I'm just saying, you know,
But Sandy,
you
sugar
know,
daddy.
right? She really leveled up with Mr. Amos. But you know, but he did, help with the kids and everything. So the family noted that Amos and Sandy had a very interesting living arrangement. So Sandy did not live with Amos. He stayed in South Carolina, and I believe the home was in North Carolina, I believe, that
Yep,
he purchased for her.
Tabor
So,
City.
immediately, okay, still, a little, that's a little weird. Not totally weird, but still, if you're married, I mean, I've heard of people sharing married but living in different homes. I've heard of it, you know, but that was one thing. But the family still, supported him because she made him happy. So the family reports that everything was going well. He loved to take care of her and the kids. And I think for me, when I was researching it, I believe initially everybody was okay, but then the one person who was not okay was the son. Amos had a son. I believe initially it was okay, but then later on he was like, no, because I believe it was the age difference that concerned him. And I really felt like he felt like she was using
Right.
his father, which I mean, I get it, I mean,
And let me just say, so Amos had two children,
mhm,
Sylvia and Tommy. Tommy was the same age as Sandy.
yeah,
So I'm just picturing, like, if that were me, I would feel some type of way as well. Cause like,
right,
I mean, love is love. So don't get me wrong on that. But a
right.
26-year age gap and you two live in separate houses, um, you like it. I would feel like he's taking advantage. She's taking advantage of my daddy too.
Yes. And he felt that way. He'd even heard that she was, because she could have kind of got away with it because he heard that she actually had dealings with other men because they stayed in separate states and so
Honey.
he heard that too. So he just wasn't feeling her. Now, right away, I'm sorry, Amos's son, his name was Tommy. My heart just broke for him because
Yeah.
he really had a lot of very sad situations that happened to him.
Mhm.
Um, so I believe starting with, I think he was on drugs when his
Yeah.
mom died. That you know made his drug use increase. Also, he had a baby that passed away. And I think he would stop, and then something traumatic would happen. And that's normally how it happens. Emotional situations trigger drug usage.
And I just want to highlight really quickly
Hmm.
that his child passing away and
Hmm.
his mom passing away happened in the same year.
Yes.
They both happened in 2001. So it's like,
Hmm.
that's a lot to process, y'all.
Yeah.
Mentally, emotionally,
Yeah.
all the things. Like,
Yeah.
my heart broke for him too, but I'm going to let you go on.
Yeah.
Like, that just kind of,
Yeah.
I felt for him.
It really was. And then, they also indicated that his drug usage is what ended his marriage because of top of everything he's dealing with the death of the baby, and then also, the death of his mother. All of that combined, just it ended the marriage. So the family reports and even friends said he wasn't a bad guy, he just had a problem. He just
Yeah.
needed help. So
Yeah.
um, after Amos and Sandy got married, Tommy moved in with his dad. Now, dad was, willing to let him move in to give him a fresh start. He stopped his drug usage. They report that he was doing much better, which was great. He was just working towards getting his life together, and he
Hmm.
was trying to do that. So
Right.
it just really makes me so sad. Like just thinking about this whole case and what
Yeah.
it was leading up to, because just to hear that he was trying.
He really was. And also he lost another child
Mm-hmm.
in 2007 in a his
Car
oldest
accident.
daughter passed away in
Mm-hmm.
that car accident. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I lost my mom, I lost a infant son, and now I've lost my daughter, which she passed away 2 days after her 18th birthday. And my marriage is just in shambles. So
Right.
y'all,
He did.
Tommy went through, and like Sha said, he was trying to turn his life around when he moved in with his father. His father didn't give up on him. He was right there with them. But Tommy and Sandy just really just bump heads.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, rightfully so, because I feel like you taking advantage of my daddy. Like, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, and I'm pretty sure by him living there, he was seeing things that other family wasn't seeing, because I don't know if you saw Shaw, but they kind of kept their marriage a secret initially when they got married.
Yeah, they didn't tell the family just for the fear of objection because of her age. And
Yeah.
like we said, Tommy didn't approve. He didn't like her. She didn't. He didn't like the way she treated Amos either.
Mm-mm.
Because I think the one of the biggest issues, especially, I think it was the living arrangement for the fact that they were living separately. Because
Right.
allegedly, Sandy would not allow Amos to live in the house with her
And wouldn't even
that
let
he
him
bought.
spend the night.
That he bought.
Wouldn't even let him spend the night. And it was a nice house, y'all. From what I was looking, I was like,
Hmm.
if a man bought me a house, baby, listen,
Right,
you can do what you want to do up in this house.
right. Well, he
But
bought it. It's
he
his house.
bought it. It's his house.
It's his
She
house.
wouldn't even let, but like not even just live there. She wouldn't let the man stay the night.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
his daughter was like, Sylvia, she's like, you know what? And we didn't know about the marriage initially, but I can see my daddy just marrying her because he was just the type of guy just so that she can be on the insurance. So
yep,
because he cared about the kids.
yep,
Like she's a widow and a single mom. He's a widow, so they bonded on that. And I'm like,
yeah,
that's kind of bringing up trauma bonds. So,
yeah,
my
yeah.
spidey senses went to tingling, red flags going off. But y'all,
Right,
yeah,
right.
um, poor Mr. Amos.
Yeah. Just really, he seemed like a very sweet man, very honorable man. Just
Yeah,
it seemed like he was all in, but she definitely was. It seemed like she was definitely allegedly looking up. Looking for a come up and someone just to secure her future because according to her friends and family, oh, she could spend $1.
honey.
Like,
And was spending it,
yeah,
spending it, and spending it,
yeah,
and spending it well.
yeah, yeah.
You
And
hear
that's
me?
what Tommy. Another issue Tommy, the family said Tommy had. She was always spending money. Like every time you come around, you turn around. She's calling Amos, so I need money for cigarettes, I need money for this. And it was just like
Right.
she was just draining him. And it was kind of funny. Like if y'all want to go back and look at the snap episode, it was
Snap
kind of funny.
episode.
Because
That's season 21, episode 7, y'all.
yes. So the detective in the whole episode, he was like, all she was trying, well, I can't remember his verbiage, but he was like, and all he was trying to do is pay that house payment.
And all she wanted was cigarettes and
All she wanted was cigarettes or beer and or whatever. And like, and people heard her say these things, it was like really no love for her. It was just like he's for the money, he had it. And I said,
he can provide for
imagine,
me and my kids. Like
right.
that's all it was. And
Yeah.
what kind of ticked me off is like Tommy was like, that's the only time she come around is when she needs the money. So this
When
is
she
your
needs the
whole
money.
husband. You stay in another state because this
Yep.
is all occurring. Mr. Amos and Tommy live in Loris, South Carolina, which is in Horry County. If you don't
Yeah.
know where that is, think Myrtle Beach.
Right.
And she lived in Tabor City, North Carolina. Now it's not that far from Loris, but still, you're in a whole nother state. Your husband's here, and the only time you reach out to check on this man is when you need some cigarettes and beer. And
Right.
he bought you a car and a house?
And a house. And a house.
Girl,
Yep.
that man wouldn't have to lift a finger if it was
It's
me. I'm trying to tell
right.
you.
Right.
I'm trying to tell you. Let a man buy me a car and a house, baby. I'm trying to tell you. Baby,
Listen.
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 Listen. But go ahead.
But she was. I mean, it's safe to say she was a gold digger. That's all it was for. And that's sad. Especially because he was willing to do anything for her, take care of
Hmm.
her.
Yeah.
But you know, she had everybody fooled except Tommy because I think, well, I know it's not. I think he lived with them. So, well, he lived with his father, so he heard the arguments on the phone when
Hmm.
she would call and ask for money, and of course, Amos would try to put his foot down and say, "No, I don't have it," and different stuff
Yeah.
like that.
And
He would
I
give
think he
it.
was even like running out of money because he had been putting so much into her. And
Hmm.
y'all, if y'all look at the Snap episode, you'll see Amos lives in a trailer. Now he got a lot of acreage, but he lives in a trailer, like a
Yeah.
little single wide trailer, and he got done bought this woman a brick home, like very nice. That
Right.
like that house was nicer than mine, and I think I have a really nice house. But like,
Exactly.
oh girl was living lavish, and
Right.
meanwhile he's living in a trailer. on a few acres. So I mean, eventually the well gonna run dry, and it was running dry.
Yeah, yeah. Especially all that money he worked hard for in the military all these years.
Yes,
Um,
because wasn't he in the military like 28 years or
it
something?
was something like that. A very long time. Very,
Yeah,
a good way, a good setup to retire off of. He worked hard for
yeah.
that.
In the Air
And
Force for 28 years,
yep. So he worked hard for that, and for her to just be draining him dry like that, like,
just
psh.
like a leech, just like a leech.
So y'all, so we've kind of given y'all like a background of everything and how how this whole situation set up to the night of the crime. So, sis, you want to start on the crime?
Yes. So again, this is all taking place in Loris, South Carolina. So this is at
Mm-hmm.
Amos's residence, where Amos and Tommy are residing. This is on October the 19th of 2012. So mind you, let me line it up for you. They got married in June 2011. Didn't really tell anyone. People found out maybe 6 months later, and this isn't even like just like a month after their 1 year anniversary that this incident occurs.
Mm-hmm.
So at this time, Sandy's 40. She calls 911, reports that she was essayed. I don't think I can say that, on here. She was essayed, and her husband and her stepson were shot dead. So when the authorities get out to the residence, they find Amos and Tommy with pillows over their head. Apparently, the intruders used the pillows to kind of silence the gunshots. And Sandy was found in a back bedroom where she had been bound in duct tape, but some kind of way she kind of set herself free. But they said she was obviously shaken up. She was distraught, and they had to send her to the hospital for treatment and to get a R kit, a RAPE kit. I don't think I can say that,
Mm-hmm.
but so yeah, the house was ransacked, and Sandy's story was that this was a home invasion. Now, what I want to point out is again, Sandy never came to Amos's residence to stay the night or to hang out. She only came when she needed something. Likewise, like I said, Amos never went to her residence. He wasn't allowed to spend a night or anything. This particular day, she's like, "Oh, we were just gonna have some like family time. We were gonna eat ice cream, watch some TV, this, that, and the third." So that's the first red flag, because you ain't been coming over here unless you need something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she alleges that when they went into the kitchen to get the ice cream, someone bust in the door,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's when all this occurred. So she said that they took her to the back room and SA'd her, but while she was back there, she heard the gunshots.
Right.
Now, when law enforcement went to talk to the neighbors kind of confirmed there had been a lot of break-ins in the area. They're like, we've been dealing with break-ins and stuff here, as of late. And so what they were thinking, because Sandy alleged that one of the intruders called out Tommy's name. It was like, "We got you, Tommy boy," or something to that
Mm-hmm.
effect.
Mm-hmm.
So what she's telling them is this may have been someone, because like we said, Tommy was turning his life around. So she alleges that this must have been someone from Tommy's drug days when he was, you know, I don't want to say, well, strung out to say, because he was taking, I think Sylvia, his sister, said that his issues were marijuana and pills, and he drank a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
someone during that time, I guess she was saying that he may have owed somebody some money or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, and they bust in, and these events took place. So of course, she was taken to the hospital for the R kit. They kept her clothes, so they gave her some scrubs, and then she went over to talk to the police. And then, do you want to pick up from the interview for there, or you want me to keep going?
You can keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while at the police station, after she was checked out, again, they're saying she's visibly shaken up. The door was kicked open while they was getting the ice cream, blase, 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 whatever. So they were asking her, what do the intruders look like? She's like, well, they wore masks, and they bust in, and they was like, get on the ground. Where's the money? Where's the money? We got you, Tommy boy. Did a little bit of
Cap.
acting. Big cap.
Cap.
I know y'all like my reenactment though. Give me the money. Okay, okay. So she said that Tommy seemed to recognize the guys, and I'm like, how he recognized them? And they wearing face masks, but I guess like
Mhm.
body features and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But again, same thing as last week. Why was she the only one left alive?
Right. What makes her so special?
Why are you so special?
Right.
So, of course, bombastic side
Side
eye,
eye.
criminally offensive side
Side
eye.
eye.
Okay. So, as they're questioning Sandy, they're like, is anything happen out of the ordinary? This, that, and the third. This heifer. She said, well, yes. I was at a gas
Mhm.
station, when I was on my way to Amos's house, and these two men approached me, and they asked me if I knew Amos or Tommy, and I tell them, well, yes, Amos is my husband,
Mhm.
Tommy's my stepson, and I'm headed over there now.
Now, okay. So, how did the universe just come together like that for you? Like, how did
Like,
that is a once in a lifetime situation where magically some people just walk up to you in a store and they say, "Are you Amos and Tommy's, or do you know Thomas and Amy?" And not Amy. Where I get Amy from? Who
Tommy
is
and
Amy?
Amos, Tommy and Amos.
So I'm not Amy Lord. No. Oh, okay. Amos and Tommy. How do you even think that the stars would align and that would happen for you? So immediately investigators are like seriously, like magically. So you know, but they kind of rolled with it, and she says she recognized the person's voice, even though they had on masks, and it was from that interaction. So
Yeah. But it's just weird. And not only that, if someone approaches me at a gas station, asks me if I know such and such, even if I do, I'm going to say no,
hmm
because I don't know you.
hmm
I'm not finna just be like, oh, that's my husband and that's my stepson. I'm headed to their
yeah,
house now. That
yeah,
sounds like
yeah.
an open invitation, do it not?
Right, right. So, and I
Like, girl,
was
be
like,
so for real if you're going to be anything in life.
right, like how, and for the fact that she even said, I really have a big problem with her. Even though Tommy was trying to get his life together, you used his past, that you knew he was trying to get it together. You used his past to orchestrate this whole thing, which ticked me off.
And, like, even with as far as, where's the money, Tommy boy? Get on the ground.
I'm not. Nope. Not today. Not today.
Why would she tell the police that, like, girl, what? So anyway, okay. So
Not for real.
end scene. So as Shah stated, the authorities found that really odd and really strange because they're like, the universe did not just align for this interaction to happen. You
Right.
were randomly at a convenience store, two men approached you like no, and then
Right.
they were even like, we from our experience, if a drug dealer is after you for money, taking your life is not going to do them any good because they still don't have their money.
Right.
Like they
And like
want the
you said,
money.
like, okay, if that was the true intention of these intruders coming in the home, they wouldn't have just taken out those two men. Why they didn't get you either?
Exactly. Exactly. So authorities are like, okay, so now this is going to switch from just a friendly interview to an interrogation because your
Right.
story ain't adding up. So they
Right.
began interrogating
The math
her.
ain't math.
So as I stated before, they had an unorthodox living arrangement. So they were like, okay, and she never stayed over the night. And Amos says this is the first time. Why on the same night this occurred? Why are you staying over there? So that's their red flag number one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like we said, Tommy did not like her at all.
Mm-hmm.
So she and Tommy had a very tense relationship. He felt like she was taking advantage of his father.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy had told the family that Sandy had other men and she never came around till she needed anything.
Mm-hmm.
Then what was also suspicious is a few months before this, Amos randomly fell ill, like no explanation. He just
Mm-hmm.
randomly became ill and he became incoherent, didn't know who anyone was, like he was having like dementia like symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
But it was only temporary. So that led the family to believe that Sandy may have been poisoning him. And they
Mm-hmm.
tried to tell Amos this, but this little old man, like he was so like he one of them types I just know that just want to see the good in everybody. Like he wasn't
Right.
having it. When his family
Yeah.
was trying to convince him and tell him that Sandy was poisoning him and trying to
Mm-hmm.
him, he
Right.
was like, no, she's a nice lady.
Yeah. She's a
She
good
would
lady.
never. She's a good
Yeah.
lady.
Listen, if it was me,
And that was my grandpa.
listen.
I'd be like, nah, grandpa, you ain't even in your right state of mind. We about to
Right.
investigate this. Like, ain't
Right.
no way.
Right.
Ain't
I'd
no
be on her like a
way.
hawk.
Baby, every time she pop up, I'm over there. You hear me? Like, ain't no privacy.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
sorry.
Immediately no.
So, they have that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sandy's R kit, if you watch Law and Order, you know what I'm talking about. Her R kit, it came back negative.
Inconclusive. Yep.
There was no penetration. Remember, she said they SA'd her. She said they R'd her.
Mm-hmm.
However, um, just because they were saying, well, they couldn't solely go off on that because she
Mm-hmm.
very well could have been SA'd. And
Mm-hmm.
if she was SA'd, it doesn't necessarily mean that penetration would have happened. However, she told authorities that penetration did occur.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another lie.
Mm-hmm. So one thing I forgot to add in the beginning. So when the crime happened, they even found her. She said that she had been r'd, but also they found duct tape on her wrist, and so she said she broke free.
Yes. And I
She
don't
was
know if
able
y'all
to
know,
wiggle
but duct
herself free.
tape is some strong stuff. I don't know how
Exactly.
she broke free. I don't know
Exactly.
what
She
she
said she
used.
broke free.
I don't know if she had a pen, a pencil, or something. But duct tape is some strong stuff because I
Yeah.
don't even use it because it like ripped some hair off my skin or something one time. Like you can't just break free of duct tape like that.
Yeah, but she said she did. And they found her with duct tape on her arms and stuff like that. And
So she had some duct tape residue. Oh,
yeah,
Sandy Superwoman Locklear breaking free of her duct tape restraints. Okay, girl.
right, right,
Like, okay.
right.
So, so then they served search warrants on Sandy's phone records, and those certain. Now also they did a well, I'm jumping ahead. So they did search warrants on her home and they got phone records. The phone records revealed that before 3 a.m. that same morning, because this crime occurred in the wee hours of the morning, so about 3 a.m., she got a text asking if the door was unlocked. And then 3 to 5 minutes later, there was a response from Sandy's phone saying it's unlocked now. So obviously, authorities are like, no, girl, you involved in this somehow.
Hmm.
You're
And
involved.
and the authorities asked her like, "Who was that?" And she was like, "Oh, it's my cousin." And they were like, why are you texting your cousin that? And then a couple minutes later your husband and his son
Child.
are killed. And like immediately, so the investigators, of course, they're investigating her, they always are working in the background. They're not going to tell her
Hmm.
everything that's going on,
Right.
but they're just working aggressively trying to you know put two and two together and figure this out
Hmm.
because they're on her at that point. So at that point, I believe she changed her story because she figured this ain't working or whatever, and then she
Hmm.
just like caved in.
Mm. So, yeah, as Sha said, she said it was her cousin. I don't know about y'all, but I ain't texting my cousin at 3 or 4 a.m. unless we both out and I'm talking about somebody that's in the club or something.
Right.
That's the only time we
Excuse,
texting
it's
at 3 or 4
giving Big
a.m.
Bird.
Big Bird, Easter,
Sunday
Easter
picnic.
Sunday, Sunday picnic. Yeah, we be having nicknames for people in the club, y'all. So that's the only way I'm texting somebody at 3 or 4 a.m. or unless I'm like on the road, broke down somewhere, but I don't
Yeah.
even be out. I don't
Yeah.
even be out. I like I'm real
No.
old. Like I be in the house by 6. I'm not going out after 8. Like when it
Right.
get dark, I'm not going back out that door. Like
No.
unless I'm with my boo, and I ain't even got no boo right now. But anyway, let's go.
Mm.
So they allege that like they're coming to the conclusion that Sandy opened the door. She was the one.
Mhm.
She opened the back door. They didn't kick it in. She opened the back door and let them in.
Mhm.
And then at that point, she just broke down and started crying and sobbing. She was like, "Nobody was supposed to get hurt. Nobody was supposed to get hurt. They were just supposed to scare Tommy up and leave," because she alleges that Amos, this poor little old man, came up with this plot to try to scare Tommy straight so that he can get out of the drug world. But as the family said, he was already turning his life around.
Why would he hire people to come in and scare his son who's already trying to get himself together? Why would he do that? Get have these people come in, with guns
In his house.
in his house to scare somebody straight.
Honey. It ain't even no evidence of addiction at this point. They had
No.
Tommy girlfriend on there interviewing her. She was like, no, like that wasn't the case. Now she looked
Hmm.
like she may be going through addiction. That's
And
neither
let
here
me
nor there.
listen. I wish I could come through the camera and twist your lips.
She done been through something, okay? But cause I was looking at her like, yeah, girl, you done lived a rough life. But Tommy was
You know how they say she didn't live a hard life.
she lived a hard life,
A hard
baby.
life.
Uh, maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's methamphetamines.
Ah, no, ma'am. Nope. Twist your lips.
Addiction is not funny. It's not. Okay, y'all. So Tommy ain't have no evidence of addiction at this point.
No.
So they were again, she said when she said that Amos helped set up this plot, she alleged that he hired these two men to do it. One of the men's names was James Evans, but she said the other one was the one who pulled the trigger, and she didn't know who that man was. Now,
Mhm.
James Evans was the one who tended to her lawn. He cut her grass at her home in Tabor City, North Carolina. So when all of this is going on, James ends up turning himself in, and he said he told the authorities that Sandy came to him, not Amos. He said Sandy came to him and asked him if he wanted to make $50,000.
Mhm.
First of all, you a CNA. I don't even know if she's working at this point, but you're a CNA. Even now or even back then, CNAs, while they do a lot, I think that's kind of like how teachers are. They do so much, but they are that like what they do is not represented in actual salary. CNAs do not make a whole lot of money.
They don't.
So
They
where
should.
you getting 50K from? Because Amos is running out of funds.
Mm-hmm.
So she told James that she was receiving a $1 million insurance policy.
Listen, now I'm gonna tell you, I got real warm at Sandy. She moved me because, whew, so she would brag to her people, like her friends and family, that said if Amos died today, I would be a millionaire. Matter of fact, her words were, "I would be a very." She pulled a Nene. Now Nene said it back in the. Nene said it. Let me tell you. Uh, Sandy, she might have been the originator. She said I would be a very rich. Yes,
Bitch.
right.
And I was
But
like, helpful.
yeah, you telling people this,
Like her
and your
cousins,
husband is
her
was murdered.
family,
Okay,
she would always brag about like she gonna get this money, this, that, and the third. But I'm like, you know what? You should have stayed in school because obviously you do not read that life insurance policy
she
in
ain't read
its
it.
entirety. because you only get $1 million if he died in a commercial airline
Air
accident.
accident. And then you got 330,000 if he died in an auto accident. But any other death was 200,000. Now, granted, in South Carolina, that money can stretch.
Yeah,
Back then,
in
um,
2011, it ain't gonna
in
do nothing
2000,
now.
right? But not now. Maybe in South Carolina, but like if you go to places like California, New York, places like that, no.
Chicago, it ain't doing
Chicago,
nothing, baby.
no. You gonna blink and it's gone.
But that's why I was like, you sitting up here plotting crimes, trying to be this criminal mastermind, but your stuff throw it off because you ain't even fully read. All you have to do is read. Like,
You ain't reading.
you ain't reading. All you seen is they had in there in bolded letters $1 million. But
And went
that's
crazy.
and you went plumb fool. Now was it worth it, girl?
No, cause she didn't get to spend it.
You ain't get to spend that 200K and you dead. Mm-mm.
Yes.
You really wasn't getting $1 million.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it really bothers me because is this the value we put on human life?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
to the point, so much so because a lot of these cases we do, or I see or research, there's a life insurance policy involved. So much so to the point that when I get married, I don't even think I want to be on my husband's life insurance. Leave it to the kids
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
I ain't getting indicated in nothing.
But she
Like,
just like I just like when I was reading about how she just took them like had the insurance policy. But the thing is, though, I think it even came up. Don't quote me, but I think it even came up like how the heck did she even know that she was on the insurance policy?
and I want to know, but see, I can like judging by what Sylvia said, I can see Amos doing this because he's such
Yeah,
a kind-hearted person,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
very unfortunate that people with kind hearts and who are have very giving spirits are usually the ones taking advantage of the most. But he's coming from a genuine place of just concern and care for her and her two children, so I can see him actually, doing something like that. But what I want to know, which I didn't see a lot on, I want to know if she was the one who initiated this conversation and how, at what point and how long was it after you were married that this life insurance policy was taken out. I want to know that as
Mhm.
well. So I may
Yeah.
dive a little deeper tonight. But
Hmm.
that's what I'm curious because y'all just celebrated 1 year in I think June or July of 2011, and this man is, his life is taken the next month.
Hmm.
Like, and I don't even know why it had to be in August. That's my month. Like, don't do stuff like that. But anyway, so listen. James, your boy James was like, yeah, he told him this stuff, but he was like, I wasn't the shooter. I ain't see the shooter. I don't know who the shooter was. There was another man that bust up in there with me, but I don't know who he was.
Listen, if I had been in that room,
I'd have
I
been
would
like,
have popped
James.
him in his.
I'd be like, James, come on, James.
Please don't insult my intelligence. Don't play with me.
Please don't. That's the quickest way to piss me off is to
Play with
insult
my
my
intelligence.
intelligence.
Right.
So
Right.
apparently the other shooter was an individual named Odom Bryant. Odom was the stay with
Mm-hmm.
me. Odom was the nephew of James' girlfriend. And he was described as a career criminal. He was under suspicion for a completely different shooting that took place in Tabor City, North Carolina, which is
Mm-hmm.
where Sandy resided. Remember, we're in Loris at Amos's residence. So
Mm-hmm.
he was under suspicion for that. But they had no trace of him. Like the man had just disappeared, kind of fallen off the face of the earth. So they had to call in the marshals to come to help and try to locate him. And it took them 4 weeks to find Odom. But when they did, they ended up arresting him in Winston-Salem, North Carolina on September the 19th, 2012. So this is 4 weeks after
Mm-hmm.
this incident. Now, Odom ain't no fool. When they bring him in, he immediately asks for a lawyer, and I don't blame him. But he
Lawyer.
made the comment. Yeah, lawyer, Miss. What's your name, lawyer? What's your date of birth, lawyer?
Lioya, Lioya.
So I can't reiterate that enough. I ain't telling nobody. No, you gonna have to work for it. You talk to my attorney, okay? So he
Exactly.
didn't say anything, but he did say to the authorities. He was like, James talked, didn't he? So I guess he knew
Yep.
James wasn't built for this. He wasn't built for this lifestyle. Odom is James new to this, but Odom is true to this. Okay.
Mhm.
So he admitted that Sandy told them to come in there and scare Tommy, but they were unaware that Amos was going to be there. They had no clue about Amos. And I can believe that because like I said, Amos was not welcome to Sandy's home in Tabor City, North Carolina. So they probably didn't know Amos, didn't know nothing about him, never seen Amos because he wasn't welcome there. Even though he's the one that bought the home. Trash. But anyway. And he said just things really didn't go according to plan. But he alleges that he was not the one to pull the trigger. Sandy pulled the trigger.
Mhm.
However, they tested Sandy's clothes for gunshot residue and they didn't find any gunshot residue on her clothes. So it then becomes a he said, she said situation. But in the state of South Carolina, it don't matter who pulled the trigger, all y'all going down, one band, one
A
sound.
hand of one is a hand of all.
Thank you. Like if and I think my parents have always told me, they say stuff like if such and such jump off a bridge, you gonna follow him. And I would be like, no, of course not. But that is the case in South Carolina. If you're with someone and they do something and you're there with them, you're liable for it as well. Which is crazy. So it
Yep.
really didn't matter. They all was going down regardless of who pulled the trigger. So
Yeah.
then we go into the trial. So the trial happened about 2 years after this unfortunate incident on June the 2nd, 2014. And I'll let you start on the trial, Sha.
Mm, okay. So on okay, so the trial starts, and of course, immediately, they pull in all the witnesses. You have her family members talking about how she was gonna be like if James died. I'm not James. Why do I keep like I didn't call this
Amos,
man Amy,
boo.
now James. I'm sorry. Um, she was saying that if Amos passed away, she would be a very rich, you know what. Also,
BITCH.
she was saying, yeah, but she didn't read. Okay, she
Why I
didn't
just
read.
flashback to that Lotto
Uh,
song? It's giving rich. It's giving boss. Go ahead.
that ain't. That's definitely not what she's giving. Oh no,
Go
she's
ahead, baby.
giving dumb and
You giving
a whole
broke
bunch of
me.
stuff. Right, right. You get excited about some cigarettes and what? You think
And
I'm gonna
beer?
be if he had money like that? Like, and I'm not trying to disrespect this man or whatever because this is horrible. I'm. But seriously, you think I'm gonna care about cigarettes? And so no, I'm gonna be trying to level up my life, like
Come on with it. I'm investing. He about to open me a
investing
business.
a
You about me how you
business,
can start me a business. We doing
right?
stocks. We doing
Right.
bonds.
We
I
gonna
don't
buy
care
some
about
more
none of that.
property.
We gonna set a trust fund for both of my kids. Like if
Yes,
I'ma do it, I'ma do it.
we playing the long game. We not caring about no casino trips, no cigarettes, no alcohol. We not caring about none of that. We
None
playing
of
the
that.
long game.
None of that, baby.
And that's the part that makes me mad about her. You fumbled a bag and you killed a man.
You fumbled it and buried it. It's not funny, but you fumbled it and you buried it.
Well, she
Like,
did.
and that man would have gave you the world.
All
That
you had to
man
do
would
was
have
ask.
gave you the world. It's probably so many women praying for a man like Mr. Amos.
Yes.
Poor baby.
So that they're pulling out all this evidence during the trial. Of course, several witnesses come forward, including her cousin. Of course, they're trying to identify a motive, and of course, the motive was money and you
Greed.
know greed. That's all it was. Money and greed. That's all it was. So she had a cousin come forward. She was the cousin that talked about stuff that she would hear. Of course, they brought up the details of the insurance company not the insurance company, the insurance policy.
Yeah.
And after the trial, she was found guilty. So Sandy got 2 consecutive life sentences, but even throughout the trial, they were still unable to determine who actually pulled the trigger. So that's still like an unknown like fact, like
Yeah, we still
who
don't know
pulled the
to this
trigger.
day. They
One is
know,
saying yeah, they know.
but
One is saying no, she did it. Then she's saying no, he did it. And instead, and I'm just like,
it
at
don't.
that
The
point, what you
judge
still
told them
lying
it
for?
don't matter. It don't matter. Y'all all going to
No,
prison.
no. South
One bed,
Carolina
one
says a
sound.
hand of one is a hand of all. So y'all
Hand of
all did
all.
it, and it
You
doesn't
were
matter
in
who pulled the
cahoots
trigger. You
together.
were in
You
cahoots with
going
each other.
down together.
It doesn't matter who pulled the trigger. You're all going to jail, and that's basically what it was. And I totally understand that because this was a planned murder, and she
This
just
innocent little
pathetic, man.
man, like this innocent little man. So she was sent to the Graham Correctional Institution. I just want to highlight she has no possibility of parole. I don't agree that she should have parole. I agree with that decision. Now, James ended up pleading guilty and he received 2 concurrent 30-year sentences. Now, I don't know if y'all know, but consecutive means you serve them one after the other. Concurrent means that they are occurring at the same time. And he is at the Perry Correctional Institute. Now, good old Odom was convicted of 2 counts of murder and given 2 life sentences. He went to trial in 2015 and he is in the Broad River Correctional Institution.
Mhm.
So,
Now, I assume Odom got a heavier sentence because of his past crimes.
yeah.
Just
And
a
remember,
buildup.
well, that's a separate case. I didn't look to see if they actually connected the dots with him in that murder that occurred in Tabor
That
City, North
shooting.
Carolina. But he
Hmm.
had a colorful history. I don't think James did.
That's what I was saying. Because when I was watching, I said, I mean, granted, they all need to be in jail, but they gave
Yeah.
James the 30-year sentences and then they gave Odom 2 life sentences. I was
Yeah,
like,
and I think it's important to highlight that James's sentences were concurrent. So essentially, once he served 30 years, he can get out.
yeah.
So he can get out in let's see, this the trial happened in 2014. He can be out in 2034. I didn't see anything about parole, so I'm not sure if he'll be eligible for parole. But after 30 years, like he's
Hmm.
running those sentences at the same time, so he's getting
Right.
credit for both.
Right.
Um, yeah, but and I think also because he cooperated with authorities, whereas Odom he wasn't going for it.
Yeah.
Lawyer,
Yeah.
lawyer, lawyer.
Mm.
So after the trial, exactly like a year later, Sandy filed a $1 million lawsuit against the J. Reuben Long Detention Center. And the lawsuit detailed actual damages, punitive damages, as well as attorney fees. So while she was at this detention center awaiting trial, she alleged that a former detention guard by the name of Ricky Fraley made sexual gestures and remarks to her and touched her improperly while she was an inmate in the Horry County detention facility.
Mm.
So he said that she said that he groped her, would touch her inappropriately on multiple occasions and kind of push her up and pin her up against the wall. And she did file an incident report on June the 27th of 2013, to which Fraley admitted to complimenting Sandy's eyes and said that he told her that he could meet her once she got out of jail. So as a result of this incident, good old Ricky was fired. He was terminated. Okay.
Mm.
You can't be fraternizing with the prisoners and
Mm.
stuff like that, sir. I don't know what you thought this was. You can't take advantage of people just because they behind bars. They still have rights.
Right.
So I definitely don't agree with that. And Sandy was a nice looking lady. The authorities and the police, they described her as exotic. I
Mm.
want to get away from that because every time they see a light skinned black woman, they want to call them exotic. When nothing
What's
exotic from her about Sandy. She was from North Carolina. Exotic is Puerto Rico, Bahamas, them islands. babe, just because you light skinned, you that's not exotic. But that's what the police described her as. Oh, Mr. Amos, I could see why he would like her. She was exotic looking. And I was like, yeah, was she really
How you
though?
feel about her now?
How you feel about her now? Like, she real
But
exotic, ain't she?
yeah,
Like,
like
just, I don't like that. But anyways,
I didn't either.
so
Because they
yeah,
said
like
it several
they
times.
said
Yeah,
it
I didn't
several
like
times. She exotic looking. How, baby? She just yellow. Like, she hot yellow. What's exotic about that? Like, you from Laurinburg, North Carolina.
that.
That's
Facts.
not exotic, sweetheart. Like,
No.
she exotically stole this man their money and set him up to be murdered. Like,
Right.
anyway, but I don't agree with Ricky Fraley taking
Mhm.
advantage of her, taking away advantage of the situation while she was awaiting trial in the Horry County detention facility. So unfortunately they were unable to find Ricky in order to serve him. Like, he literally dipped. He fell off the face of the earth. They don't even think that he's in the US at this point. They don't even think he's here in America. So he was found in default. So technically I guess she won this lawsuit, but of course with him not, he's not here in America, like she ain't getting no money. But
Right.
also in 2016 she did attempt to have her conviction overturned and was denied by the South Carolina Court of Appeals, as she should be.
Exactly.
Now, this was just an interesting case because how can I say this? So I don't know. At one point, I feel like I was on the fence, but now I'm all the way over as to Sandy and what she did to Mr. Amos and Tommy, just because of Odom and his history, and I can see how maybe she did want to scare Tommy up because, and I'm playing devil's advocate, I can see how she wanted to scare Tommy up because, like I said, they had a tumultuous relationship. They didn't get along, didn't like each other, whatever. And maybe she wanted him out the picture. Maybe she wanted him moved out the house or something like that. I don't know. But in light of what she was telling people about this life insurance policy, the more I began to dig a little deeper and continue my research, I was like, like Sandy, I was
No.
kind of on your side at one point because
Mhm.
I could see and understand and grasp how that can get out of hand because situations like that have happened.
Mhm.
But now I'm like, bombastic side eye.
But I'm gonna tell you, like, I always thought she was guilty, in the way the detectives did a very great job in this case. I felt like, because,
Mhm.
like, even if you were to scare him, why were there guns involved?
Right. But
Like, you
now
can. Uh huh.
I think what it was for me was and I think, I mean, and maybe this is just because it's South Carolina. I feel like what it was for me is that there was no gunshot residue found on her
Mhm.
person, like on her hands or her clothes or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I understand that is the whatever for South Carolina. I get that she does deserve to be behind bars, but on murder charges, like, she didn't pull the trigger.
Mhm.
But I guess because she planned it, kind of
Planned
set it
it.
up or whatever, I can understand that. I'm glad the family was able to get some justice and find a little peace with this. I'm not I mean, I can't say they found peace cuz they lost such a great man, two great men. But
Mhm.
I'm glad they were able to get justice, but I was just like, this I didn't know that. As far as that law in South Carolina, I thought you
Right.
had to figure out and prove who pulled the trigger.
Mm-mm.
But
Hand of
no,
one is the hand of all.
McMaster, he don't care. He said, all y'all going down.
Don't talk about him.
Just don't commit murder in South Carolina. Go to North Carolina, okay?
Don't do that either. Don't commit murder. Don't kill nobody.
Killing is bad. Don't do
Right.
that. Don't do that. Do not do that. Like, I
Lord.
mean, just get some therapy or some counseling or something. Y'all be jumping off the deep end. People do something to you, and you just gonna take them off the map. Like, I have never process like that. Like it's never been. I've been in a situation where I'm so angry, and I've been in some angry situations that I'm
Mhm.
just gonna annihilate this person. Like,
Now, I have thought about putting Oreos on somebody's windshield
hmm I
in the
have.
summertime.
I've done more than thought. I've done some things
Okay.
allegedly for
Don't
educational purposes
say,
only.
right. Don't say it because,
Allegedly.
right, allegedly. I haven't did the Oreo thing. I heard it works.
I
Egg yolks too and egg whites.
I ain't did egg yolks and egg whites. I'm not I'm not gonna incriminate myself.
No.
We're not doing that. Just say my
No.
20s was a fun time. But I've never had the process to just be like, I'm gonna do something to this guy or this, that, and third. No, baby, like it's never it ain't that deep for me. Like
No.
just
No.
you know what I'm saying? Like just move on with your life. Or like if the well done ran dry, go find you she was a nice looking lady, go find you another sugar daddy. Like
But the
I
thing is,
mean,
though, the well wasn't dry. The thing is, the well wasn't dry. You just spending money. You just want money for stupid stuff. Like if you didn't have all these
like
stupid habits you have that are just
and like
like
girl, you don't your CNA salary don't allow you to buy beer and cigarettes.
no,
Cause
no,
you weren't paying no bills. Mr. Amos was paying that
no.
house note.
The whole house, in addition to his house,
Baby, I'm just waiting on the day a man come pay this house note. You hear me?
it's coming.
You hear me? You sitting up bothering
Hmm.
this man for beer and cigarettes, and he's paying your mortgage.
He's paying your mortgage. That should be on you. That's the least you can do.
Hell, he probably paying the utilities too. Knowing Mr. Amos, that's just how his family
He
describe him,
was
like
providing.
provider, the definition. If you ain't coming like Miss Amos, Mr. Amos don't come at all. You hear me?
Oh no.
Don't come at all. But no, like he really she had a maid, y'all, but that just goes back to that greed. But I'm very interested to know why they said she had a very rough childhood, but I didn't find anything as far as what was considered rough. Like I mean, I understand, with her mom being a single mom and having, her and I think she had siblings and they moved around here and there. I'm assuming the mom wasn't really wealthy, but maybe not have been stable, so she may have just been an opportunist because you know how they say you act like you ain't never had nothing. Like that's
Yeah.
true. Like you can tell when people come from money and people who
Yep.
come from struggle.
Yeah.
Those are starking differences between how they react regarding money. Like she was
Hmm.
bleeding that man dry. Poor Mr.
I
Amos,
agree.
Lord. Poor Mr. Amos.
Hmm. Hmm.
But do
And
you
what was
have
sad, his family tried to tell him like this woman is poisoning you, and he was just like, "No, she's a nice lady." That's all he said. She's a
a
nice
nice
lady, and
lady?
he wasn't having it.
Good Christian woman. She
And
would
I don't know if he's
never. She would never.
no,
Oh, Mr. Amos. Oh,
no,
Mr. Amos. But
no,
you
no,
have anything else to add, Shaw?
no. I'm just disgusted. Another week disgusted.
Disgusted.
You
The
just fumbled a
actions.
bag,
The
Sandy.
actions. You fumbled the bag and buried it.
You could have got it legally.
Like, sweetheart, if you would have divorced them, you entitled to half of everything. He could have been paying you alimony if you didn't want to be with him that bad. Like it's
Yeah.
so many different avenues you could have went. And I'm not encouraging that. You know what I'm saying? But so many different
Hmm.
things she could have done for you to do
Hmm.
that. The poor old Mr. Amos. Like I just feel for that man. Like he was such a
Hmm.
sweetheart. Like, but
And
I still
Tommy
stand on
and the
what I
son.
said. And Tommy, I still stand on what I said. If you ain't coming like Mr. Amos, don't come at all. Don't come at all. At this point, I'm
Oh
dating for money. Let's just go.
listen, it's a lot of weird conversations out here about like what I mean, I don't know. I mean, I get it though.
I'm gonna get in
wanting
trouble for this.
security. What? Which one? Which
I'm gonna get
part?
in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble for this.
Which one? Which part? Something you about to say or something you already
All of
said?
it. Something I already said. All of it. All of it. Just kidding.
But the gag is, guess what, y'all? She wasn't.
I really wasn't. I'm glad my sister know me. My sister know I said it
No.
and I meant it and I stand
She
10
didn't
toes down
mean
on it.
some of the things she said. She didn't mean some of them, but the part that you need to come correct.
Or don't come at
She
all.
meant that part. Right. She meant that part.
Meant that. Not gonna explain myself.
Oh no. Well, listen, but
All right.
Sandy could have got the bag like legally. It was hers.
Yeah. They're married.
That's
Like
that's
and
like
that just
that
goes
rich
to show
actor.
she was not satisfied with nothing he did.
Nothing. That's like that Rick act. Let me look him up. Who was it? Before I tell a lie, let me look up the. Was it Robert
Might
De
tell you
Niro?
the truth, but I never tell you a lie.
Tell you a lie.
Never tell
Hold
you
on.
a
I think it was Robert De Niro. Let me look it up to verify.
what Robert did.
Is that Robert De Niro? Yeah. Is that the one? Okay. So Robert De Niro, it just makes me think. Now he's still alive. His wife didn't kill him, but like she was adamant that she just couldn't deal. Like this man is worth. I can look it up, y'all. Y'all can look it up, but I think it's like $70
I
to
will
$80
tell you
million
right
dollars.
now.
Look up Robert De Niro's net worth.
Robert De Niro is worth 500 milli.
Okay. So his wife just act like she just. I'm sorry, forget these earrings. They get on my nerves. Robert De Niro's wife just act like she just couldn't take it. She just couldn't be married to the man no more. Now, hypothetically, if life happens how we hope to happen, like you have a full life and you die in an old age, hypothetically, if it went that way, right? You telling me you couldn't? Let me watch my mouth. Okay, hold on. You telling me you couldn't have held on just a little while longer?
Baby, I was
Oh,
still
she
going
couldn't take
on.
it.
I was
She
still
couldn't
going
take
on.
it. Got a house and $1 million.
Are you serious? I would have held on. I would have but we have problems, baby. Let's go to therapy. Let's go
The
to
man is
couples
worth
counseling.
$500 million. You can be in a whole other state. If you couldn't stand him that bad, you can be in
And
a whole nother section of the house.
so why was he so? Why she couldn't stand him? Because I love Robert De Niro personally, and
I
to
do too.
me, he's 79. That man looked good to be 79.
He's
Like
handsome. He was
he
handsome.
kind of went like I think it was that movie he did with Zac Efron that kind of did it to me. I was like, that's like a sexy grandpa. Like
Which one?
Robert De Niro. What was that? I think it was Bad Grandpa. Matter of fact, Bad Grandpa he did was with Zac Efron. It's a really
Let's
raunchy
see.
movie, but y'all gotta watch it. It's so good, but he played that role, and I was just like, yeah, Robert, listen, baby, if it don't work out, call me.
I believe it was. I can look back at it, but he literally she got like I think it was a house and $1 million, and I was like, "Girl, you is
You are
stupid."
beyond stupid. Like I will make it work. I don't care what that man want, what he need. I'm gonna fulfill all those things. You said what? You
Facts,
and if I
facts.
get
You
mad, guess
couldn't have
what?
held
Like
on
what I
just a little
say,
while longer.
go in the other end of the house.
Go, go to the spa. I mean, just playing your whole day so you don't have to be around him at all.
Like
If it
you
was
got
that bad,
go out the country, go on vacation. Like she ain't do you
fumbled
right.
the bag
Listen, she ain't do you right,
allegedly for educational purposes only.
Robert. She ain't know what she was doing.
Listen, Robert, call my sister. She can cook. She can clean.
And listen, Robert, not for real though. I love Robert De Niro. Y'all gotta understand,
Right.
I love Robert De Niro. But
Right.
I did not know that about that wife. I really didn't. That's
Look
crazy.
it up. I was so disappointed in her.
Like, girl, you should
I
have
was
just took
so
it
disappointed in
out.
her.
And how long were they married?
Oh man, like since it was a little minute
A
too.
long
Like
time, right?
not like he's been married a couple times, but I want to say it was like from 97 to 2018. So a good like
That's still a pretty good while. He has
yeah,
so okay, Grace Hightower, I'm assuming.
that's her. Yeah.
So that is 21 years. Like he's been married twice. They divorced in 2018. They've been married 21 years. Like, sweetheart, you're
Hmm.
79. I can be wife number 3. And we ain't getting divorced, baby.
But I think he got somebody now, and I think he has a baby.
He ain't got me though. He ain't got me.
No.
Yeah, he do
Yeah,
have a baby. I seen that. They just had a
he do
newborn,
have a
but
baby.
like I said,
But y'all
she
can look allegedly. I ain't trying to get sued by that woman. I said what I said though. You fumbled a
allegedly,
bag.
allegedly.
Allegedly, but she's fumbled a bag. I remember hearing that on the radio. I was like, "Girl, what are you doing?" I was like, "She need to be my friend," because I was her girl. Don't you go nowhere.
Listen, now he got a baby with the girlfriend and
Yeah.
finna have one by me.
Listen, all I ask, I don't need no money or nothing, right?
Mhm.
From y'all,
Mhm.
I just need to go to the spa once a month.
I got
That's
you.
all I need.
I
That's all
got
I
you.
need.
I got
I
you.
don't need
We gonna buy a spa. How about that?
right like on site. Perfect.
Grace, it's been real. You're stupid. You're
No.
stupid. You're like Sandy. Ridiculous.
Right. Right.
So
Well, at least she ain't shot her off him, but yeah.
no, because if she
Got to
did, I
play
would
the
have been
long
at her. I
game.
would have been at her door. Don't you touch him. Don't you
You
touch
got to
him.
play the long game, y'all.
Exactly. She played it very short. Well, she gave him 21
Yeah.
years, but like, girl, he's 79. You can hang in there a little bit more.
But listen, one
79.
more thing before y'all listen, before we close. I was hollering because they was like, all she wanted was cigarettes and Mountain Dew. I was like,
I said not to do.
not the Dew. I'm not. I was like, oh my God. I
But
said,
and
y'all petty for that.
real quick before we leave, I don't know if y'all know, but it's the thing in like country people. I don't want to say country people because I'm considered a country person,
Me
but
too.
mainly in South Carolina, North Carolina, a lot of times in the mountains, people love Mountain Dew. They hooked on Mountain Dew so much so to the point that's all they drink and it rots out their mouth and they call it dew mouth. Look it up. It's
Yep.
called dew mouth. So that don't
Mhm.
surprise me when they said about the Mountain Dew. But even the police officers, they just so country. I got my life with them. Like I was
Listen,
hollering.
because they were, they had their southern accents, and then they were
Yes.
so shady, and it was just so funny. Like
It
it
was
was so
real
funny.
funny. I said, but yeah, Sandy, you deserve that, girl. POP, hold it down. Free Donna Goodo.
No, don't free her. No,
Free Donna Goodo.
no, don't free her. She where she need to be.
She
Trust
where
me.
she needs to be. Um, no parole. Stay in there. Do your
Nope.
bid, honey.
Yep.
You gonna die in there. Like you took Amos and Tommy life, and
Unfortunately, yeah.
unfortunately,
And then what did you gain because you didn't get the money?
she didn't gain anything. That was very short lived. You didn't get no money. You didn't even get no cigarettes and beer. You didn't even get the ice cream. You was going to the refrigerator to get the ice cream. You didn't even complete that task when the dough was
Nope.
bust in. Now I want to go to Brewster's.
No.
I got time.
No.
I got time. So, do we have anything to add for this week's episode, Shy?
We don't. This was another one of those. I mean, every case we do, I feel like it's just like eye roll, like girl, like what? You
Girl,
need to be smacked.
you need to come to my
Also,
TED talk.
right, like just come sit next to me. Like, let me show you how to play the long game. Like how to, you know.
Cause you ain't doing it right. You need to talk to the Macbeth sisters. You ain't doing it right,
Right.
baby. You ain't doing it
Right.
right.
Like you need
Mm-mm,
to play the
mm-mm,
long game. Like
mm-mm.
don't be trying
I'll
to
show
like
you how to get a lot of things paid for. You hear me?
I'm a witness about this one. Okay.
I'll show you
I
how to
you
do
know,
it.
I can't play the games no more cuz I'm married, but
You don't
this
have
one
to.
right
You
here,
got a husband. He's taking care of everything. He
he takes
provides. You hear
great
me?
care of me. He's a
But
good man. I'm extremely blessed. But let me tell you, what I can say is I watched this one in action. I'm not mad at the game.
no
I was
questions
lit. I'm
asked.
But I can't say it because Lord, listen, it would be
Yeah,
some men on here sick. You hear
girl,
me?
don't drop no names. Now you doing too much.
I'm not dropping no names. We're not gonna drop no names, but they
Girl,
gonna
you
be
gonna mess up
sick
my
when they.
operation. Don't mess up.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
no.
But yeah,
But
come
I
to
ain't
my
mad
TED
at you.
talk because you wasn't doing it right, sweetie. Come to my TED talk.
But it don't matter no more because
Well, she can she well no, she behind bars.
she
I
behind
swear,
bars.
unless she bet that Susan Smithing.
But listen, what is this root weird infatuation with like criminals? Like recently, I guess that's coming from. I guess what I'm saying is coming from. Y'all Murdaugh has a
Oh yeah,
OnlyFans. And it was like
Murder
he has
out
a
there
following.
like he out there spread out with that pale white chest, milky white,
He
just
looked, he is shaped like a marshmallow. The big puff ones. Like, I was like,
I can
and
see
he
him
was
taking
like,
a picture now, looking like a dead fish.
and it was so bad. Because he had on his glasses. And,
I
how,
said,
and
you
then
don't get that out of here.
and then somebody said, "Where's his nipples?" And I looked at that picture and I
They
said, "Where
wasn't there
are his
for
nipples?"
real. I
No,
said,
they
who
weren't there
is
for real.
paying for this? Who paying for this murder?
But much like him, the Night Stalker guy, women go crazy over men like that. Like
And
I
also
don't
that
get it.
guy that killed all them college students in Ohio, he has a lot of women that are writing him and
Really,
after him. Yes, what is his name?
I
There are a
forgot his
lot of
name.
women. Let's see. Uh, Let me do a real quick Google search. I'm sorry, y'all. Brian
Hmm.
Kohlberger. There are a lot of women after that man. They write him, they send him money, all kind of stuff. And I'm like, how can you do that knowing that he took
Hmm.
the lives of these innocent college students who was just trying to make a better way to provide for their future? Like
Right,
he got them I can't say what I want to say. He got them goods, okay?
them girls.
Them goods. I was finna say the B word, but I can't say that. He got
That's
them goods.
awful. That is awful.
Ugh, people
That's
weird.
nothing about that is
People are
attractive.
weird.
They kill people, y'all. What is wrong with y'all?
People weird. Very weird. I would never. I would
No.
never because I be doing background checks on people before I even decide to talk to somebody. Before you even talk to me and approach me, because people be flirting and stuff like that. Before I decide to even go out with you, trust me, I know your mama, I know your daddy, I know if you got any kids, I know the
Mhm.
baby mama's involved. I may play crazy, but I know exactly what be going on because need to know what I'm getting myself into. I would
Yeah.
never knowingly date a killer. Girl, you gonna be next.
What makes you so good that it wouldn't be you?
It's gonna be soon as they get out, if you ever get out. And then they be trying to marry these men so that they can have conjugal visits. Like, ugh, are you kidding me?
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? Your
Yes,
mama
I'm
ain't raised
judging.
you. You ain't got no coof. Your mama ain't raised you right. What is going on?
Yeah,
Like, y'all
no.
just be so desperate to say you got somebody that you just out here doing any and everything, baby. God is not pleased.
No. They keep their books stocked and
Come to Toya's TED Talk, sweetheart. We gonna unpack all that. We gonna unpack all that, okay?
but I saw it. I said, okay, so this what we doing now? Okay, all right.
That's what we doing in America. That's what we doing.
Mhm. Well, y'all, it was a great episode once again. Please be sure to go back and look at our other weeks. This is the second week we did our video, like actual video. So we do like this
Yeah, I do.
way. That so you can see who you're like, whose voice is whose,
And
and
you can put a face
different
with the
things.
name and get familiar
Yes,
with us. Welcome to
exactly.
my
So
home.
so, so y'all, please tune in next week for our next case. We have another great case next week. So I think next week's case is still South Carolina, I think.
It's still South Carolina. However, if there's anything you want us to cover now, we'll say we have been keeping up on things and recent events and stuff like that. We may be covering a few recent cases. However, we're trying to wait until all the details get out because we don't want to be those people that do a part one, part two, and continuously having to update or whatever. But if
Mhm.
you have any cases you want us to cover, that is enough coverage on it, from start to end. It doesn't have to be in South Carolina. It can be anywhere in the world. We're not even gonna just say the United States because a lot of stuff been going on in other countries. Just let
Mhm.
us know. Just drop a comment. Right now we're just on YouTube. We will be expanding to other social media platforms here very soon. We have some things in the works for you guys, and we're very excited about this. So please like, share, comment, subscribe. Did I leave anything out, Shy?
You did, and you did fabulous.
Thank you, boo.
All right, y'all, over and out.
Bye.